Alright, considering this is one of the most critically acclaimed games of 2007 we're talking about here, Bioshock feels like a bit of a pointless review. But then again, most people seem to forget this game's very existence the second Bioshock Infinite was released, so perhaps a refresher is in order. Bioshock is set in Rapture, a majestic underwater city built by Andrew Ryan. Fed up with the economic oppression from both the government and church, Ryan dove into the ocean to build Rapture, a place where free enterprise was allowed to reign supreme. Our main character inadvertently finds Rapture and discovers that it has gone to absolute hell. Most citizens have gone insane and are out for blood. So, needless to say, your goal is to escape this demented journey through what was once a utopia. And what a journey it is! Rapture is a really well put together setting to explore. Every environment is teeming with grotesque imagery that really engrosses you into the game world. Exploration is the name of the game here, between the environment's wonderful way of conveying subtle story details, to the audio diaries that really flesh out some really sick and twisted individuals. Exploration is just as much the core gameplay component to this game as it is in Metroid Prime, and it's enthralling to piece together the story of Rapture. Some may dislike the sidetracking that is admittedly prevalent throughout the entire experience, but I think it's a small price to pay for that feeling you get when you exit an area with the entire map marked as explored, and the character who dominates the area now understood. And probably killed. Speaking of characters who have stuck around in Rapture, you've got some really intriguing personalities to interact with on your journey. There's the savage Dr. Steinman, who started outright butchering his patients, Sander Cohen, who's a fanatical artist who has no regard for human life at all, and at the center of all this, Andrew Ryan, who is not so much evil as he is resolute. Even though his ideas have clearly crumpled to pieces before his eyes, he clutches at them with an absolute ferocity. He refuses to compromise his beliefs out of stubbornness or desperation or genuine faith. I don't know what it is exactly, but he's just a fascinating character because of it. I'm a bit of an idealistic 16-year-old myself, so when I listen to him talk about the need for patience as the city crumbles because of his policies, that's the stuff I might say if my beliefs were in the same position. It's really striking and almost haunting in a way. Overall, Bioshock is a great setting, great characters, a great twist, and great ideological subtext that really lead to a fantastic story. Now to talk about the gameplay, except that I kind of already have been. You see, usually when I review a game, like my Batman Arkham Origins review for example, I talk about the story and gameplay separately, with only maybe pacing to really link the two. But here, the primary component of this game is its exploration, and that's tied in very well with the story. All that's left for me to say about the exploration is that I appreciate how the load times are kept to a minimum, which is crucial for a game about exploration if it wants to be immersive. Oh, and I also love how optional exploration is generously rewarded. But of course there's combat too, almost the proverbial dressing onto the exploration salad, and it's pretty good. I appreciate the variety of guns that you pick up on your journey, and the fact that you get to keep them all. You can even upgrade them too. You also get some neat powers called plasmids that allow you to shoot stuff like electricity, fire, even hornets from your arms. These are quite fun to use, give the game more customization options, and even tie in very nicely with the downfall of Rapture. I like having the med packs, the wide variety of enemies, that really cool side quest where you take pictures of enemies in order to gain more special powers, like for instance the ability to turn invisible. I just love everything this game does to feel different from most other FPS's this gen. But what I feel is best about the shooting is that it doesn't try to surpass the exploration. I mean, there's plenty of combat in the game, but all these combat scenarios feel more like briefer skirmishes rather than fully fledged firefights that would break the pace of the game. The enemies you face really just feel like products of their environment, literally and figuratively. However, this game's emphasis of exploration over combat will not please everybody. By that, I'm simply trying to say that this game is really easy. You start out somewhat starved for resources, but by the halfway point you will have enough money, ammo, and medpacks to cruise through the game as comfortable as can be. The checkpoints are fairly generous, and the enemies don't pose a huge threat. Even the ferocious big daddies can be easily eliminated once you master the combination of electric shotgun and armor-piercing machine gun. The problem is that this game game clearly tried to sell itself as a survival horror game and should be judged as such. I do think that it kind of works as a horror game with its phenomenal atmosphere, and there are elements of survival gameplay done well. For instance, I actually like the often hated final boss because it forces you to spend all the resources you have built up over the game, which is exactly what the final part of any survival game should do. But that does not change the fact that you'll be bulldozing your way throughout Rapture. I can see this being a crippling flaw for some people. But if this game was trying to primarily be about exploration, maybe this was the right thing for the developers to do? Constant deaths would detract from the immersion that the game is trying to achieve, right? But is that viewpoint overlooking the fact that gameplay is the most important facet of a game? Honestly, I think your answer to those questions kind of shows to an extent what kind of gamer you are. What do you want games to prioritize? Offering you exhilarating challenges for you to overcome, or giving you a thoroughly immersive world to explore? If you pick the former, I can still recommend Bioshock. You'll probably enjoy the story and the powers you get to wield, but you'll probably come out the other side thinking that the game was overhyped. On the other hand, if you're looking to find a world to become thoroughly engrossed in and you enjoy pipe minigames, you will probably consider this to be a superb game. So go ahead, pick it up, and try it out for yourself.